He went from fronting a rock band to leading a 1.2 billion healthcare system, all while raising two set of twins. Christopher, I don't know where you had the time to do all these things, man, but once you stood on a stage with a mic and now you're behind a boardroom table with a mission, when did you actually realize your calling wasn't just music, but it was actually truly medicine?
Yeah, it was sort of not my life plan at the time. My dad was a chemist and a chemical engineer. My mom's a teacher, and they kind of pushed me into maybe thinking about one of the STEM fields. Back when I was growing up, they thought that would create a lot of opportunities for me. And I think really when I went to college, I started off as a chemistry major, and I think. I worked my first summer in a lab, and it was me and another guy, and we would set up something and just sort of sit around for waiting for a couple hours. And I just realized I was much more a people person, and I needed that connection to people. And I sort of very at the end of college pivoted to thinking about medicine as a way to kind of tie in my education to date and also kind of into a field where I'm able to be with people. And my parents, when I told them at first, they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're going to ruin your life. Doctors are on call on the weekends and all this kind of stuff." But it's just been a fantastic journey, and you just able to connect with so many people over my career, and it's been super rewarding.
So I ask you, man, there's always something that you learn from your past career, and I don't know if it's really your past career. You probably still play music now,
I
but
do,
what
yeah.
did music teach you?
Yeah, music taught me, a ton. There's so many corollaries between business and leadership and music. The first is discipline. In order to play music on a high level, you have to do it every single day. You've got to put in the time and really learn your craft. The other is, it's you have to learn how to listen. Because
Mm,
I think when musicians are first starting out, you're concentrating on what you're playing. But then as you
mhm.
go in your journey as a musician, you realize great musicians are listening to those they're playing with and how they're fitting into that. As I was playing jazz is really that conversation and playing back and forth with people and improvising. And you have to do so much of that as a leader. If I'm just the talking head and telling people what to do and I'm not listening and I'm not interacting with others in a truly meaningful way, I'm not going to be as effective as a leader. And then, like on the high level, like you think about playing in a symphony orchestra, you could have 60 fantastic, talented musicians, but if that conductor doesn't get everybody playing in sync, it'll sound like a mess. So
Yeah.
really, you have to, as sort of the leader, you've got to get all sorts of talented people in different areas all working together and going in the same direction, and that's not unlike conducting a symphony or coaching a team of all stars. It's a very similar thing. It's like you could have great athletes, but if they're not playing together in sync, it's you're not going to get the win.
Correct, correct. You know, a lot of leaders find something to reset their mind. Mine's is plants. I'm a plant dad. So whenever I just need to relax, let me get into some plants, repot, and I'm good. But is your relaxation, that mindset reset, is it music? Is that what you do when you just want to shut off and kind of get back in tune with yourself?
Definitely, it is definitely music. I start every day. A lot of people go out for a jog or do this or that. My routine is I turn on the news and grab an instrument and I'm just playing for a while and it kind of gets me grounded. And then in the evening too, it's almost like in place of like a meditation for me. It's playing that music just sort of just sets everything right. I can put away the noise of the day and really just ground myself back. So it's I always joke. I say music is my Prozac. It keeps me sane, keeps me going. But I couldn't imagine not having that in my life. Yeah.
And you say instruments. What kind of instruments are you playing?
So when I started off, I was a very, very serious trumpet player. So that was my main instrument, really, up until about 5 or 6 years ago when I had a health issue. The trumpet, you really have to blow very hard, and I ended up with like a hernia in my throat, and I had to
Oh
quit
my.
playing. So I'd always played several other instruments, but not as seriously. But now I've gravitated. I play a lot of bass. I play a lot of guitar. Play some keys. I'm doing a lot of vocals. So that's kind of how I've moved. So I play all sorts of different instruments. But
You
yeah.
making me feel like I'm not doing enough. Let me show you something. I've had this guitar forever and a day, and I don't know how to play it. Okay, but I love the sound of the guitar. I've tried to learn, and you're telling me you're just here picking up all these instruments.
That's
Like
right.
maybe I'm not doing enough. Okay, that's
I love
funny.
it.
I love the color of this guitar. It was gifted to me, so that's why I never give it away. Some
It's
broken
beautiful,
strings, and I,
yeah.
it's a beautiful guitar. I broke one already, but I've always wanted to learn. And I'll tell you a funny story when it comes to music. I love music. I
Yeah,
love to turn on music, not play music. Clearly, I can't play it, but I love to listen to music. That
yeah,
is, to me, is when I'm cleaning the house, when I'm in my zone. Give me some good music, and that's it.
yeah.
But when I was I don't even know where I was going to start about music. Actually, I'll come back to it because I was just telling you about music. I totally forgot what the hell I was going to mention. But no, this is cool, man. And doing what you've done, you also got two set of twins, man. Like,
Yeah.
did that make life a little more challenging? And what are some of the
Oh
things you had
man.
to overcome in that stage of your life?
You keep thinking it's going to get easier as they get older, but it's just new challenges, different issues. But I do have to say, when they were because they're only 3 years apart, almost to the day. They were born July 3rd and a July 5th. So when we had four in diapers, and oh my gosh, it was insane, the chaos and
Wait a minute, Chris. You
yeah.
said you had a set of twins July 3rd and another set of twins July
3 years
5th?
later, 3 years later, yeah. So I had the first set were July 5th, and then
Oh
three
my
years
God.
almost, yeah. So they were almost all share the same birthday. So we've got their birthdays coming up here. But we were lucky that we had a lot of family support and friends, and we were able to get through it. But it is chaos, and I think part of what it taught me is don't sweat the small stuff, right? I think a lot of
Yeah.
people freak out about the small stuff, and when you're absolutely overwhelmed, you focus on what really matters, and I think that's a big thing. And the other thing is, I think how I got into operations in my career, leadership career, as starting off was having two sets of twins, four kids. It's like finding that order out of the chaos. That's what operations is. It's really trying to
Yeah.
find
True.
order in the chaos and getting things working. So, but yeah, it's been a crazy journey. Now we're like. My older two are, dating and thinking
Oh my
about they're going to be
God.
driving, and it's just different. Thinking about colleges and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just bigger problems. But
I'm still stuck that you said both their birthdays, or all four of the birthdays, are literally 2 days from each other. Like you're broke at least that first week of July. Like
oh yeah.
you got birthdays, birthday gifts. Like, is there a point where you actually say, you know what, let's just celebrate all you guys together? Are you
We
guys doing that?
we had done that for years. We would have a big kind of Fourth of July party and celebrate all of them.
Okay.
But now they want their own day
Oh
celebrated,
my
with their
God.
own friends. And so we're going through that. My daughter's got a big Sweet 16 party we're planning here, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it's
Oh,
it
this is
is
fun.
crazy. When they were little, they thought the fireworks were for their birthday. They didn't realize,
Yeah, that's
that it had
funny.
a bigger meaning. But yeah.
Big celebration, yeah. No, I kind of go back to that music. I remember the story now. Actually, as you were talking, it was that the first instrument I ever played was a clarinet, and
Ah,
not because I wanted to. It's
yeah,
because I had other siblings, and my sister was playing clarinet. That's what she passed down to me. So I get into band, and my mom said, "Well, take your sister's clarinet."
yeah.
And I only lasted 2 weeks because I hated the clarinet. I didn't want to play it, and the band instructor caught me running around the band room. I really wanted to play trumpet. I wanted to play
Yeah,
drums. My mom, we just wanted a place to afford it. But
yeah.
yeah, man, that's why I've never got to learn any instruments. I got kicked out of
Oh,
band really early on in in my life.
well,
So
it's never
I got
too late. It's never too late.
what I did do, I was a singer. People don't realize I spent probably 4 years in chorus. Now, if someone asks me to sing, I'm like, I'm not a singer. But I got
Okay.
friends I used to go to school with. That's like, Efrain, stop playing, man. You
Yeah,
sing.
you
I'm like,
sing.
no, 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 I don't do that anymore, man. I don't do that anymore. No, but cool, man. I love that there's things that you still find love in today, and I think we mentioned it offline. This is probably one of the biggest surprises. You mentioned yesterday you had the ability to actually play with a band, but I'm pretty sure when people see you as a leader and you're starting to play this music and you're playing instruments, they're like, "Wait a minute, Chris is actually doing this,"
Yeah,
and you just
yeah,
get
it is funny. A lot of people came up to me yesterday and they didn't realize. Yeah, we had a really fun Juneteenth celebration, and they had a band, and I sat in on a number, played a blues tune, and sang and played the guitar, and it was really pretty funny. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is, leaders are people too, right?
Yeah.
And I think it brings that authenticity, and just like, I'm just a regular person. I do other things too. It's, I'm just not this talking head in an office. Yeah. So it really, I think, grounds that.
Yeah, and I'm like you, man. Outside of this, people will be very surprised on the energy I give to wrestling. I'm standing on chairs, I'm screaming, and I had a friend that says, "Aren't you too grown for that?" I'm like, "Man, be quiet, okay? I love wrestling. Stop judging me, okay?"
That's right. That's right.
But I asked you, man, you could have gone anywhere, but something about Mary Washington Healthcare really pulled at your heart. What was the soul of the place that spoke to you that leads you still to be doing this this amount of time?
Yeah, I love it here. I love the community. I mean, I think at the core, and a lot of nonprofit hospital systems, they invest in their community, and they have strong missions and great missions. But here, it just was a little bit different. It was truly part of the DNA of this health system, this community, is really to make sure our entire community has care, and great care. And that is what my entire team, even long before I got here, but that was just part of the DNA, and it's what drives me every day, is how can we provide excellent healthcare for our entire community, regardless of ability to pay, regardless of whatever walk of life, or situation you're in. We want to make sure we are here to care for everybody, and that just speaks to kind of my moral fiber, and kind of what drives me. The community is interesting. We're about an hour south of DC, hour north of Richmond. A lot of history here, Revolutionary War history, Civil War battles, occurred here. But within a month of living here, you could just see there were a lot of community folks that cared just very deeply. Were very involved in charitable organizations, and it was just this tight knit community that cared, and it was that I think that's fantastic.
No, 100%, man. To be in that kind of community with so much history is always amazing, and continue to leave your legacy. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you're doing at this point.
Yeah.
And you also talked about last time leading with empathy and still being visible. Do you remember that time when you had to show up for your team and really no one really expected it?
Yeah, as a leader, I think one of the biggest things of the calling of leadership is the impact you can have on so many people outside of just your organization, but those who work for you. I mean, we spend so many hours a day at work, and we have team members, and we want to make this a fantastic place, and where people feel called to come, and want to throw themselves in. And all of us have issues in our lives. We have family issues. We have, all sorts of things, health issues, and you just really want to be an authentic leader that understands that my team are people too, and they deal with these things, and be that supportive environment where we can all just support each other, and care for each other, and get through some difficult times on the work side. Healthcare is not an easy business. It's a extremely complicated and tough business. And just that supporting each other, I think, is a big part of it.
Hey, real quick, if you enjoying the podcast, we first want to say thank you. And we also just want to give you a little insight of what we're up to at Francis. Some don't even realize that we're working with organizations to help them use AI to create that real human communication experiences, where that's actually supporting your families, those patients, or the entire community. We're actually creating tech that connects. Check it out, francis.ai. And who do you give kudos to? I mean, you're in the C-suite space now, but who first taught you what leadership with leading with heart actually looked like? Do you remember? Do you recall those individuals that really gave you that
Well, really, I
insight?
think it's like three different tiers. First of all, my parents. I was lucky to grow up in a family where a super loving family with two parents who are still a huge part of my life, who supported me through everything, and provided that example of what being a good person is, and how to give your all, and how to give more than you take. So I started, really from an early foundation, learning from my family. I grew up in a pretty small town, and
Hmm.
as I moved on and went to college and stuff, you can kind of get a little bit lost in the shuffle. And early on, I had a music professor at my college who, sort of, she's larger than life person, like and she's a connector, and she really helped me find my voice, right? She pulled me out of my shell, and she taught me how to kind of give, and not be kind of nervous or a wallflower, or like how to just break out of my shell, and that really led me on in many different ways. She gave me confidence, I think. And then as I was making the move from being a practicing physician to leadership, which was really a difficult decision, and I wasn't sure if I was making the right decision. But my first job, the CEO of the hospital in Pennsylvania, John Morahan, he sort of took me under his wings, and I was a newly minted MBA. I had all these great ideas. I knew the book stuff, right? But to put it in practice and to learn from somebody who had decades of experience and who really took the time to share their experiences and that firsthand knowledge to me was super meaningful, and I think it's allowed me to get to where I am today. And may not have allowed me to make that jump from physician to hospital operations, health system operations, had it not been for John too. So a lot of important
Yeah.
people, yeah, in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
life.
yeah. No, 100%. It's always cool to go back, and even if we don't talk to those people, it's always cool to just mention their names whenever we can. Never know they're watching, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
have
great.
I
Yeah,
have I have some leaders myself, man, that I don't speak to like that, but they were really good. In my time where I was this young, just a hothead, oh man, I remember these conversations with some of these directors I used to have. But
yeah,
now that I look back, they just had the best interest in heart at heart, But in the moment, we're not thinking like that.
that's right.
We had to really find those people to really talk to us. And what I love is that you mentioned people just making people feel like they want to come to work.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a leader, you see it time and time again where they feel undervalued. And I think that's what really kind of happened in the health care space during the pandemic. People
Uh,
just felt overworked, undervalued. And we've seen so many people leave. Also they were doing work they probably didn't want to do. But
that's
now
right.
we're in a space that I think that technology is taking on a lot of those admin tasks, doing a lot of the things that people hate to do, and allowing more people to do what they love. Are you guys kind of on that wave of implementing AI technology that can actually do that for your staff and your team?
We are. I'm spending a lot of time, researching and looking at that space. We've implemented a few things. One of the most difficult things I think for nurses and doctors is the electronic medical record, which is
Yep.
you spend half your time typing in it, hours and hours a day, and that time should be focused on the patient and what you were trained to
Hmm.
do and caring for people. And if anybody who's been to a doctor appointment just knows how annoying it is as you're trying to talk to your doctor or the nurse, and they're like with their back to you typing into the computer. And the doctors hate that too. And then they often have 2 hours of continuing to type stuff in the evening. So a lot of health systems, including ours, have implemented this new AI technology where it listens to your visit and it populates that note for you, and it puts the correct things in the correct places, and it takes away all that data entry so that clinicians can get back to being with patients. But it's funny. There's things that I saw demoed, a year ago that I was thinking, oh, it's almost like science fiction, and you're thinking, oh, that'll be 5, 10 years from now, and now it's like a year later is ready for prime time. They have these chat bots that are essentially nurses chat bots that will, you know, talk to patients, get them scheduled, make sure they're on the right medications. And if somebody's lonely, just talk to them, about different things. And then the next time it calls you, like a month later, it'll remember what you were talking about and where you left off. And it's just astounding to see that we're at a situation like that. But I agree with you. I think the hope, the promise of AI is it's going to take a lot of these uh, non-value add, sort of just custodial tasks that everybody hates to do, take that off of our plates so that we're able to get back to our connection with people and our patients. That's the hope. But there could be risk out there with super
Sure.
intelligence and everything else too. I grew up watching Terminator and The Matrix, and you're like, oh, okay.
That's why you bring Terminator. Somebody brought up I Robot the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, those are all good movies, man. That
Yeah,
it's happening. It's here. When you
yeah.
think about, we are selling, or Elon Musk is going to start selling robots.
Yeah, I know.
That you
It's
can
yeah.
have. So it's like crazy times, man. Just
Yeah,
really
I
crazy
was in
times.
Phoenix a couple months ago, and you see these Waymos driving around everywhere without people. Like they're just self-driving
Wow.
cabs, and you're like, how are we, it's like some a science fiction movie that I would watch
Yeah.
when I was a kid. Yeah, it's crazy.
I yell at my friend all the time because he likes to drive his Tesla,
Oh yeah.
and I'm talking to him, and I can tell that he's not listening because he's doing something, but he should be driving, right? And I said, "Sir, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm editing a video." Sir, if you
Oh
don't focus on the road, what are you talking about, right? People are so reliant on this technology, and I
yeah,
think that we're going to have a lot of young leaders that are going to get into this healthcare space and says, where's the AI?
yeah,
Right? They're already
yeah,
learning it. Where's the AI here? Like we
yeah,
need technology, which is a good and a bad thing, but
yeah,
it shows that we have to kind of adapt to the next generation.
yeah,
When we thought social media was going to take over, I mean, the internet was going to take over.
yeah.
Now, I mean, we can't live without internet and
That's
Wi-Fi.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely crazy times, man. But it's cool to see that you guys are in the space of how do we implement AI to make lives easier for us to do the things that we truly love. So that's actually pretty cool on that sense, man. But thinking about where you're at today, man, what does the next 5 years look like for you? What are you trying to accomplish, whether it's personal, whether it's within the organization?
Yeah, within the organization, as I've come into the CEO role, I'm in the middle of developing that 5-year strategic plan, and I like to think bold. I'm trying to think big. So things that we're working on, first, one of the big problems in healthcare is we don't have enough workers. We don't have enough doctors, nurses, therapists, pharmacists, you name it, we don't have it to serve the needs of our community. So we're going to start doing that ourselves. So I'm in the midst of planning a medical school. We might be able to tailor in a school of pharmacy.
Okay.
We've worked very closely with our community college on nursing program expansion, and so we are converting from a community health system to an academic health system. That is sort of the vision of the next 5 years, so that we can. And the other things it can do is integrate more sophisticated, higher end care. It can integrate, hopefully, these new technologies. It'll provide the chassis for research, development, maybe even AI incorporation into the healthcare space, and then training the next generation of physicians and doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals. So it's a big investment. It's a big move, but our community is very, very rapidly growing here in the Northern Virginia area, and we have to grow with our community to make sure that everybody gets the healthcare they need.
I love it. Yeah, especially now. I see that you're really growing out for the next 5 years. We're in tough times right now. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing? Things that I'm hearing when I think about today's is that people are in fear to go to the hospital now or to go to their doctor's visits, not knowing if they're going to get back home or not. Right? It's affecting the nonprofit and the healthcare space, but it's just affecting families in general. What are some of the things that you guys are doing to make sure that you guys help those people that are living in that kind of fear space?
We want to make sure our community knows that we're a safe space. We are the safe space where you can come. We do not want to be in a situation where people are not getting life-saving health care out of fear of their documentation status or that sort of thing. So we are not, we're not law enforcement, and law
Hmm.
enforcement has an important job, and but that's not what we do, and we certainly have to cooperate, but. We want our community to know that we are a safe space. There's confidentiality when you talk to your healthcare provider. We're not reporting anybody to anywhere. What the last thing we want is somebody to have a bad health outcome because they're afraid to come to the health system for care when they need
Yeah.
it. So,
That's good to hear. That's
yeah,
good to hear.
yeah.
I don't know that I've spoken to another healthcare leader that's put in that space, in that way of, hey, we're here, it's confidential, we're not just telling your business, so hey, he's here, come get him type stuff.
That's
We're not working
100%.
with law enforcement to.
Yeah.
So no, that's actually good, man. And with you playing so many roles, and I would say living so many lives, you're a musician, a doctor, a father, a CEO. What's that through line that's never really changed for you?
I think no matter when you see me or what aspect of my life, you can see me out playing with my rock band. You can see me here at the hospital. You're always going to get the same person, right? I'm just try to be just me and try to be authentic and try to be warm and inviting. One of the things I just like the most, like I said, I love people. That's probably what drew me to what I do. But I love people from all sorts of diverse backgrounds. Everybody has a cool story to tell you. You can learn so much from people, and so I think you're always going to get the same Chris Newman, no matter where you are, what you're doing, you're going to get the same person. So, and I hope
I
that
love that,
John,
Chris.
yeah,
I love that you said you're always going to be true, authentic yourself.
yeah.
Why is that so important as a leader? Because I sometimes I come across leaders, man, and I can see the sense of you're putting on this mask that is not really you. But why is it important in a leadership perspective?
I think a lot of leaders end up doing that. It's based out of insecurity, right? You have to have the security to be your authentic self, right? And that's like what I said, bring it back to Cheryl Boga, my music college teacher, right? She taught me to just be you. It's good
Right.
enough, right? Just be you. And broke me out of my shell back when I was, 18 years old, and really gave me that confidence. And it's hard pretending to be somebody you're not. I think that takes a lot of time and energy, and I think
Hmm.
it turns people off, especially those that work for you. They can pick that up really quickly. Those that are around you and those that you're trying to lead, those that you're trying to serve. So I just really encourage people to be their authentic self and having the courage to be your authentic self.
Yep. It, to everyone that's really listening right now, Chris, that probably feels maybe they're late to the game, what would you actually tell them about timing or let them know about timing?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely never too late. I mean, there's all sorts of great stories of people who founded great businesses when they were at the end of their lives, or certainly were much older. But I never contemplated leadership in any way, and I made that switch and that journey in my 40s. And on the music side, not when I wasn't even trying. I wrote a song at the age of 50 that got national radio play on Sirius XM,
Look at
right? The rock song,
that.
so it's like it never, when I was trying to do that in my 20s, it didn't happen, right? And then it just happens. So it's never too late. Do what drives you and passion. Who knows what my next chapter will be, right? I've never been in a situation where I've been able to predict where I'd be in 5 years. Like people say, but it's always surprising, and it's never what I would have expected. I would have never expected to be here in this role 5 years
Yeah.
ago, and it's interesting. I think life's a journey. Just go along with it, and if you want to try something new, just do it. Yeah, have the courage to do it.
I would actually kind of add on to that. So I know a leader. He used to work for Subway headquarters. He was its chief development officer. Like you, a rock star, right? It kind of got him in trouble though. That's where the drugs and alcohol. Now
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like 40 years sober. And he retired, and now he's back working with some of those same members back at their radio station they at once started at when they were really young. And now he's a disc jockey, and he loves it. And he's on the radio now, and he's talking about music. And he's probably 60 plus years old, maybe hitting that 70. But it's just cool, man, to know it never leaves you. But I gotta ask,
Right.
Chris,
Yeah.
which one do you love most, man? Is it the medical field or is it the rock star world? Which one? I put you on the hot seat.
I used to say I was a musician or rock star that happened to be a doctor on the side, early on. But now it is so integrated. I mean, I am a musician, I am a physician, and I am a leader. I am all those things. And it's hard to know where one stops and the other ends. It's just who I am. It's like saying, is my right arm or my left arm more important? It is all who I am, and I love it. Sometimes I'll leave work and go ahead to play a gig, and it just keeps you going. It's all fun and it's all exciting.
I love it. As a father, man, just as a parent in general, we understand that life is not about us. We have kids that are probably not listening to us, but they're definitely watching us, right? They don't listen as good, but they definitely watch everything dad and mom are doing. What do you want your kids to think about of Chris when they think Chris and they talk about their dad? What are some of the things that you wish that the qualities of yourself you wish they're seeing and they speak on?
Yeah, I think I hope they see I'm being a caring person, really caring about everybody, caring about, I think in the balance sheet of life, you want to give more than you take. I think that's what I hope my kids learn is give of yourself more than you take throughout your life. Think about others, put others ahead of yourself. So I think that's probably the key thing. The other is, life is hard, life's competitive. You really always have to give 100%. You
Mhm.
really, right now my kids are at the point, I got teenagers and, they're dialing in a little bit at times, and I'm trying to keep them more diligent and doing your best. I always say, do your best is good
Mhm.
enough. That
Yeah.
you just have to do your best. So I hope I'm my leading by example. It's when I didn't have kids, I think I overestimated how parents could shape their kids. But boy, some of
Mhm.
the times they pop out of the wounds with their personalities and their ways, and there's just a limit to parenting. But what I think as I've gone on, as my kids get older, what I think that the thing is creating that safe and loving environment where they feel. That really they have that safety and that loving family, and
Mhm.
then the example you provide, and you just hope that they follow a path that's authentic to them, and that they really give more than they take.
Any of them into music? Any of them following dad in the rock star life?
All of them, yeah, they are all
Yeah.
super into music. It's
Oh
funny.
yeah.
When my three girls, they were very young. It was probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I heard this beautiful three-part harmony singing. And they're like 5 and 8. And I'm coming downstairs. I'm like, what is that? I thought it was a recording, and it was the three girls singing in three-part harmony. And I'm like, holy cow! But
Oh
yeah, they
man.
play violin, cello, and viola. The three girls. They very serious dancers, very serious singers. And then my son is he's a rocker. He plays electric guitar, and he loves that. So they all
This is
are
great.
very musical, and that's a big part of their lives too.
I love it, man. I am a wrestling fan, so I wrestle with my kids, and one day, hopefully, the kids one day, hey, Dad, I want to pick up wrestling, and
There you
I'll be the
go.
manager. I'm the hype guy on the back end, man. But it's cool, man. It's cool to see that you just spread love. You just spread yourself. You're yourself, and I think it's always people do business with people, as you mentioned, when they're their authentic selves, and people can read through that.
Yeah,
So it's cool that you're teaching your kids that. You're
yeah,
teaching your kids be yourself, love what you love as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
I always the wrestling, right? It's funny thing. I actually called my friends recently because I remember them coming to my house and they saying, "You're still watching wrestling? Aren't you too grown for that?"
Yeah,
And I'm sitting here like, and then they'll say that it's fake, right? And I'm
yeah.
like, so it's Marvel and any of the DC movies that you're watching are fake,
Well,
okay?
that too.
And I said, yeah, man, I love wrestling. So
Yeah,
recently, because I just picked it up like almost a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I started to just stream on TikTok. So I built a community around wrestling, people that love wrestling. So I go live. We're all watching wrestling together at our own houses, but we're just here for community and for reactions.
yeah,
And recently, I got paid $5,000 to do what I freaking love from home, and just by posting my reaction. So I called every single friend that said that to me. I said, "Hey, I just want you to know, from my house, by doing what I love, I just got paid 5,000. I know you didn't get that today."
yeah.
So sometimes, man, you just got to do what you love, man, and the rest will follow. Right? Isn't there a song like that, man? Come on, I'm like,
Yeah.
Chris, do you? Okay. We're done. We're done.
That is so true. My kids, they're trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives. And I said, it doesn't matter. You can be successful as long as you give it all to whatever your calling is. Just
Yeah.
give it your all, right? There are successful people doing all sorts of things. So just follow your heart, and and you can always change, right? You're not locked in right now, so
Yeah.
you can always pivot.
I love that, man. I love that. We're kind of coming here to the end, man. But I ask you if you could leave every leader with one mission that they cannot delegate, because as leaders we like to delegate everything. What would it be?
As a leader, you got to show up. You can't lead from afar. You've got to show up with your teams. You have to be present, and again, you have to listen. Communication is bi-directional, and I learn more just talking to my community, talking to our team, talking to all of our docs, nurses here at the health system. You have to listen and hear them, and try to make things better.
I like that. If my wife was listening to us today, Christopher, you said you got to listen so many times. She
Yeah,
would probably be nodding her head like, yeah, you got to listen.
so true.
My wife says I don't listen. I don't know. I think I'm a good listener, but you're married, okay? You
My
know what it
wife will
looks like for
probably say
husband
the
and
same
wife.
thing. So, yeah.
Listen, man, I put you in the hot seat with the blind question. I almost feel like I know the answer to this because you've kind of mentioned it throughout. But what leadership or life belief has truly stayed rock solid for you, even when everything else has changed?
Yeah, I think it just comes back to just being yourself and being your authentic self. I don't want to be behind a sheen or pretending to be somebody I'm not. I think that authenticity is core to just how I live my life and how I like to lead.
And I must say, Christopher, since the first time we met, you were truly authentically yourself. So I appreciate it. I seen it without you even having to say it. I knew before we got on to this podcast recording that it was going to be great because you
Yeah,
were coming up as yourself. And the funny thing is, I tell every leader when they say, "How do I plan for this?" or "How do I prep for this?" I don't say take notes. I don't say look at the framework because I'm going to handle that part. But I say show up as yourself,
yeah,
raw, authentic self,
yeah,
because there's other leaders that are wanting to see us be ourselves and figure out what are we doing in this space of nonprofit or the medical world. But we're also really showing them it is okay to be yourself,
yeah.
right? Some of these people may be new leaders in this space, but yeah, as you mentioned, be yourself. It's never too late. It's never too late to be yourself,
That's
Chris.
right.
Chris, what is your blind question to the next leader we have here on the Heart Hustle?
Um, I often, get people who are aspiring to leadership, and they ask, what is the number one trait of a leader? So I would ask them, like, what are maybe the top three most important traits of a leader?
I like that, man. I like that. Well, Chris, it's definitely been a pleasure. Time has flown by. If you guys are still watching this, make sure that you guys do like, comment, and subscribe. Always great gems from some of our leaders here, especially Christopher Newman. If you guys haven't already, where can they find you? What is your LinkedIn? Where is the social medias to the organization? If they wanted to find more information.
Yeah, so www.mwhc, MaryWashingtonHealthcare.com is the organization. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all that, and the band I'm playing with right now is Suspect Down. So we're on all streaming platforms. Check us out. The single that hit it a couple of years ago is "Living Life Fast." So check that out, and
Living life
yeah,
fast.
you can see my
Is there a music video to this?
we did not do a music video yet.
Oh
I want to.
man,
We
I
got
wanted a
to.
music video.
Yeah.
I was definitely gonna look for that music video. No, no, I
Yeah.
love it,
Yeah.
man. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank
All
you so much
right.
for sharing that. Guys, make sure you guys do go ahead and subscribe. My name is Efrain. This has been Chris. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Laters.